So my main takeaway from the main event, and you guys correct me if I'm speaking out of turn here. So I thought the commentary was very unfair to Ronald Ellis.
How so?
I thought obviously David Benavidez is the guy you're promoting. I completely understand that. That's sports in general. But Ellis would do like some nice things in there. He didn't have a bad fight yesterday. Like it was David Benavidez controlled the fight as we expected, but Ellis would land like 3 punches and Benavidez would land 1, and they would comment on Benavidez and completely ghost past Ellis. And I was like, okay.
I think that's a part of the psychology when you go into these fights, which is the same problem that a lot of these judges have. And I'm just gonna speak on it. And I've said this to you guys before, at least I think I have, where leading into a fight, especially a major fight, judges should not be watching fights of the guys that they're going to be judging. Because what you see in those fights that you may watch prior to the fight will get your mind conditioned to what you expect to see in the fight. So the same thing with last night. You expect Ronald Ellis to be there in the beginning of the fight, but you expect as the fight to continue for him to fade away and for it to become more David Benavidez. This is what we expect.
Yeah.
It didn't really happen that way. However,
he was tough.
I thought that the commentary started to go in the way that they thought the fight was supposed to go. And so I think that, that's just a part of the psychology that comes along with boxing.
And it's not to say that David Benavidez didn't have a great fight, and it's not to say that Ronald Ellis was winning the fight or even anything to that extent. I just felt like you're allowed to, and also from my perspective, if you don't hype up Ellis or give him his credit, it almost takes away some credit from Benavidez. Because if you're not highlighting anything that Ellis is doing, it's just like Benavidez is in there with some bum and he's smoking him. But if you're like, oh, Ellis, he's doing this, it's not saying, oh, Benavidez got hit with a few shots, he's terrible. It's just it's a fight and it happens. But
yeah, Carson, he got hit with some big shots too.
Yeah, he's there to get hit.
Yeah, Ellis
there to get hit a little
bit. Yeah, that's that kind of.
Yeah, and I thought Ellis, I thought he was all right.
Rounds especially, he was really. Those last 2-3 rounds, you could almost argue that didn't need to go on.
Yeah.
He did.
And Benavidez, that dude, he throws some combinations, man. And it was a great performance. It was a David Benavidez performance. It was probably not as dominant as a lot of people expected, but I think Ronald Ellis was a major part of that. Obviously, takes 2 to tango, but yeah, Benavidez, man, when he sits there and fires off some of those, 4 or 5 punch combos, you're like, damn.
Man, that 11th round, I wanted to stop 30 seconds before that. I'm like, come on, man. He's not going to win.
Yeah.
How about the corner?
45 punches landed to 0.
I seen that at the end.
Never seen that.
Yeah. How about his corner that said, Ellis's that said, I'm giving you one more round? And that was like, keep on going. It's one of those things you don't
He said,
how'd I
do? I did get better, right?
Yeah, and he was like,
no, man, get the hell out of here.
I thought it was gonna be funny if he just admitted that he lied the round before. If he was like, I was just bull jiving you. No, you're good. Go ahead and keep it rolling. But no, it was an interesting fight. It was a good fight. Nice
Benavidez still looked better than ever. Although I thought he looked great. But one thing though, he did look a little skinny at 168 pounds. He was so determined to make the weight and prove a point to everybody for all the shit. Everybody talks a lot. Some of it deserved for losing his title on the scales. So as great as he looked a little thin to me. And I do think David's, if he's not already, he's becoming a light heavyweight who's boiling down to 168 pounds. And I think kind of like Canelo when he moved up from 54 to 60 and 68, I think he's going to go to maybe even another level when he moves up at 75. He's already the mandatory for Arthur Beterbiev. So, the best fights for him at 68 money-wise with Caleb and Canelo, but I do want to tell him if you can't make the weight and be 100% David Benavidez, you might want to consider just cashing in your title shot at 75 where you'll be comfortable. Right. But that said, his defense and his reflexes look better than ever last night. He's always been an offensive juggernaut. He's up there, the top 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive fighters in the game. Like you mentioned it, Carson, like his combinations. And it's rare to have a guy shoot off combinations with real speed and power, at an elite level in both areas. So he might be my favorite fighter to watch in boxing. Now, don't get me wrong. If David's losing a round, I'm going to call the round 10-9 for the other guy. So I don't want the fans to get it mixed up.
Sure.
But like me, the boxing fan and not the journalist, he might be my favorite fighter right now because he looks like he might become that rare fighter. Marvin Hagler was one of them, rest in peace to Marvelous Marvin, who's truly one of the crowd-pleasing fighters in boxing while also being one of the elite fighters in boxing. And Shawn's been there too, and that's rare. So I think
Hey, Shawn, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
I think he's the best fight for Canelo. I think him and Canelo is the best fight for the fans in boxing that Canelo can make. Although I get it, he shot himself in the foot by getting stripped of the title. But it says a lot about David Benavidez that the minute he got stripped, Canelo said, I want to be undisputed.
Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.